Hello, everybody. My name is Maddie, and I'm so thankful to Freedom Revamped for allowing me to spend a few Fridays with you all, kind of giving my expertise on a few different topics. So I appreciate your time. Thank you. I am a young Black professional. I am a writer, a blogger, and also an assistant editor. My own platform is called Sing Song Blackbird, SINGSONGBLACKBIRD, all together. I was inspired by Maya Angelou, and Sing Song Blackbird is a bit of a battle cry. So it's a platform that kind of discusses a variety of different topics, but specifically centered toward womanhood, Black womanhood, and everything that comes with it. Along those lines, my assistant editor position is with the Pedestal Project, which is another platform that is awesome and caters to content revolving around and by, curated by Black women. So, thank you for having me. Today, I want to get into, deep into my financial bag. I have a bit of a financial background, having worked in banking in a couple of different areas, including mortgage servicing. Currently, the population that I work with are men and women who are retiring, going through that process. So they're getting to the point where they're kind of really having to hammer home and figure out the rest of their lives. So I kind of that's exactly where I wanted to start in terms of topics. So this first video will be about planning for the rest of your life. Now, for people who are intimately familiar with what I do, it can sound kind of morbid. I don't work in life insurance. Kind of planning, not all financial, but definitely getting people in a place where they are comfortable with making a decision that impacts where they are at this point through their demise. So I help people go from working to retirement, not necessarily old people. And that's the reason why I wanted to start with retirement. I'm a millennial, and millennials, there are memes that go around social media that always focus on the fact that, we tell boomers, hey, we can't buy a house like you could. Because when you were buying houses and when you were getting a college education, college was, $1 a credit. so, so we're more of a right now generation, which, older generations call us, but I mean, it's true. We have to think about how we're going to provide for our families now, how our car is going to get paid now, how rent is going to get paid right now, how student loans are going to be paid right now, if ever. But I think it's important for younger people, like, your early 40s, um, late 30s, mid 30s, early 30s, late 20s, to kind of think about, not only, what the rest of your life looks like, but what the rest of your life is going to be funded by. So a lot of nuggets that I'm thankful for the work that I do, because the people that I interact with always give me nuggets, when they realize, my age range. And they're like, I wish I had done this, and I wish I had thought about this. And I'm glad I made this decision when I was younger, because now it's paying off. And you'll be surprised how much they admit. And, these are mostly baby boomers that, they didn't have it all figured out. They just kind of wound up in a good place or wound up in a bad place. So I just want you all to be intentional about your finances and not to be afraid of planning. It's perfectly normal. Just like life insurance, just kind of preparing for what happens after the fact. Um, because death is unfortunate for the living, but it's inevitable. So you just want to make sure that you're in a good financial place. So I'm just coming to you. That rant was that rant was is going to be followed by just a few things for you to think about in terms of what the future looks like and finances. One point I want to make, and this is a conversation I was having with somebody not too long ago, is that there is a common misconception about CPAs what they do and the populations that they work with. Now, and I'm not a CPA, but I do work with CPAs sometime, most of the time. But it's important to know that you don't have to have a six-figure income in order to utilize the services of an accountant. Accountants are, people with a very specific skill set. They, in a sense, can help you guide your finances, just to make sure that you're on track, that you're hitting the goals you want to meet, that, your income is not being wasted in ways that, kind of blindside you later on. So you don't have to have six figures. If you want to seek out, accountants or accounting services, you know, the Google, the almighty Google. Definitely seek out CPAs in your area or accounting websites or firms that, just kind of provide overall insight into, making sure that your finances are intact, the best that they can be, and that you are making your dollar work for you. And we don't have all the answers. Nobody knows our bills better than we do, but definitely utilizing some outside expertise can help you, think about things a different way so that you're able to, accomplish your financial goals, especially for us millennials who are on Zillow looking at houses that we can't afford, that we think we can't afford. We're not going to say we can't, but we think we can't afford. Definitely, you begin with the end in mind. This is the goal I want to get to. I need to seek out financial services in order to get there. And don't be intimidated by how much you make, because I work with people who make six figures, people who don't make six figures, and they'll still tell me, hey, I probably need to run this by my CPA, just to make sure that I'm making a good financial decision. So that's the first tip. The second thing I wanted to mention is that saving is a privilege. I think, LLC Twitter specifically kind of pushes you to be in a place that you're not ready to be in, but saving is a privilege and everybody can't save. Honestly, when stuff is hitting you in your face and you're having to deal with situations head on, nobody's thinking about saving. It's a privilege that people shouldn't take for granted. They definitely shouldn't down talk people who can't, because emergencies are real. You're saving, for the most part, people who just save generally, just save for emergencies. If you have an emergency, use that money. That's what it's there for. We get so caught up in saving, we don't even have a goal for the saving. It's just there. And that goes back to, seeking out services for financial planning. The good thing about social media is that you can literally type in a search engine, accounting tips, financial tips, and you can go on Instagram. You wouldn't have to pay a CPA, but you can get some, tips that'll help you budget better so that, your money can work for you. Third thing is research. That's leading into my third point. Research, reading is fundamental. You're not responsible for what you don't know, but you don't have an excuse not to find out. The Google, the almighty Google. Search what you don't know. If you have a question, ask somebody. You're definitely, nothing you are experiencing is new. Like, my mom and my grandmama used to say, nothing is new under the sun. So, if you're going through what somebody else has, and the beauty about the internet is that it connects people with shared experiences. So you can just, you can rest assured that if you Google it, somebody more than likely has been through it. Make sure you consult with professionals, for major stuff, but, reading and researching and gaining that information, even a little bit of information can go a long way. I see memes on Facebook and Instagram all the time. Some of them are foolishness regarding like saving and all of that, but some of them have really, really good information. So just discern what's useful for you, and just try it. Just try it and see what works. Like I said before, there's nothing wrong with surviving. Like, we make surviving a bad thing. You deal with the cards that you're dealt. But if you're in a position to be able to increase your financial standing and, save more, that again is a privilege that you can work toward. But right now, today, this is the job I have. This is what they're paying me. This is what I'm responsible for. You work with what you're given. When you move, you work hard to get to the next step. Once you get that amount of money, you work hard to manage that and just adjust your research skills and your financial needs to, what's in front of you. And just kind of always keep, a bird's eye view of what, of where you want to be. So I said all that to say, plan, plan, plan. You plan. You never plan to fail, but a lot of people fail to plan. You start work when you come out of college in your late 20s. Next thing you know, you're just going to work on a daily basis, maybe even switching jobs on a rotating basis. Next thing you know, you're 60, 70. You don't have any pension to fall back on. You don't have a 401k set up for you. You don't have any kind of, income for the future outside of the services that you can get from, or the means of income you get from Social Security and, the government and, all of those sorts of avenues. And I talk to people, unfortunately, who are in that position. And I also talk to people on the other side of that argument who are not in that position. So you don't start work thinking, oh, retirement, sweet. You work to pay your bills. You're going to work to be able to afford the lifestyle that you have, to be able to access the resources that you have. And you really don't pay attention to planning ahead, but it is imperative that you have some kind of plan. Even if you're not able to save as much as you're able to save at the rate that you're able to save, you need to have some bit of forward thinking. Even though we're millennials and we are focused on what's going on now, we have bills, we have student loans, we're overworked and underpaid, and we're just trying to survive. If you're able to kind of skew your thought process to think forward, do that. Write it down, make it plain, seek out financial services. That's all a part of financial planning too. Everything ties together. Seeking out those services to see what position you need to be in at a certain point so that you can at least live comfortably. You don't have to, have plans to retire on a six-figure income if you were not making six figures while you were working or employed or however else you were earning your money. And even if that is your goal, that's totally fine. You work toward that. But you want to make sure that you're at least comfortable yourself. So, we talk about life insurance and all of that benefits other people. But what about you? When you get older, will you be in a place financially that you are comfortable with, and that you will be able to live and possibly thrive off of? Because retirees are not 70, 60 years old anymore. If they're planning correctly, they're retiring, or if they're planning to the best of their means, they're able to retire or have the option to retire in their 50s, even late 40s in my experience. So just plan, just have a plan. And I'm not going to say just have any kind of plan. Have a smart plan, have a realistic plan, and make sure that your finances are now intact and that you can keep them intact in the future. That's all I have for today. I will see you all next week on a different topic. And again, I want to thank Freedom Revamp for allowing me to have this opportunity to come to you all and chat with you all. And I just really want to give you something to think about. I'm not, an expert in all things, but I definitely want to give you something to think about with the expertise that I do have. So thank you again. And again, my name is Maddie. founder and writer for Sing Song Blackbird, and assistant editor for the Pedestal Project. And I'll see you all next time.